last game, really, where we see top laners really pressured, and we saw such difference between Someday and Dyrus in terms of who played safe and who died.
And now as we saw, LGD won the first phase of the lane swap by taking down that tower. Problem is, as soon as the tower died, Source picked up a lot of farm for himself, and now the second thing started this swap, where Nils managed to sit in a lane for himself. He has an experience advantage, he got a decent back timing off, and now he has to start bullying this lane where he's ahead of him already in experience. And then he needs to push that wave into the tier 1 tower of LGD, and that's where Origin can pull the trigger. TP's an amazing coming down, like 4v2 dive. That is the next step, and lane swap is more than just the first tower dying, it's the following 5-6 minutes as well, and what happens from there.
Well, there's still a pink ward up aggressively in the tri-brush on the bottom side, so a return path by Amazing can certainly happen. See Imp and UAL, pretty heads-up play. They push the wave in, then take Scuttle. Yeah, really very smart things by them. Overall, LGD sitting up 400 gold. Amazing has been power farming this whole time. He wasn't defending any turrets. He wasn't even double jungling, so he's level 5.5. Getting his red buff here up against TBQ. UAL nip, smash a scary face coming at him when they come back in the lane, but more farming, and we didn't really get to see 2v2 at all last game.
We'll get it this time.
Yeah, UIL, yeah, but Niels and Mithy, they're going to struggle a little bit. I mean, this is a terrifying bot lane that they're playing against.
Yeah, Mithy had a bit of a poor timing here for himself. He had to go back and get a few wards, so he couldn't stay in lane with Niels and start pushing out. But we have level 6 now on the kill list. So again, there's an advantage. It has to be used from Origin. The other one, as we highlighted before, with Source being a bit greedy and staying in lane up there, he did manage to get up quite some experience. And because Amazing went down to the bottom lane with the frozen wave from Niels, Akon didn't get any farmer experience. So he is
wow. On to Mithy, trying to build up that passive for the stun. Mithy just backs off, though. Doesn't go as badly as it could have. You gotta wonder what's going to happen a little bit later in the game. Melissa throwing Annie into the fight. Do you do that, or do you just let Annie engage by herself and then pull her out? Pull out. You let her flash in. It's not way too telegraphed otherwise. Boring. Hey man, throw her right in there. You can still be bloodthirsty by going to the flash. Okay. What about the range? Throw her in.
5-man tables, and then you take her and you throw it into the 5-man tables as well. Is that what you want to see?
Yeah, absolutely. That'll see. That's how you do it.
Time to show it, Minty.
The thing is, actually, Origin playing their bottom lane pretty well, though. You can see Imp and UAL can't really do meaningful damage because Minty can always get pulled out. Board coming in for LGD. They really want this blue. CDQ into the blue actually goes over to Expege. Got it. Meanwhile, LGD using that teleport to put a lot of pressure on his from Acorn does not connect. They still want the turret, but that's a lot used for not a lot of kills.
Very smart move, though, from Nils. Notice how far back he was standing already, knowing, okay, Minty, in case anything happens, I can pull you in, and then we can just flash out. They're going for
TBQ taking a lot of damage. Super drop the TBQ on the wall. Tries to get away with that pick right there. They can go for the there to try to support, and that'll be the end of the chase. But first blood, and it gave a ton of time for SOAS to run up in the top lane. 51 CS, no teleport on Acorn, complete map control, and SOAS can even equalize the turret score from all of this. So the TP from Acorn horribly backfires, and Origin completely collapsed directly.
Amazing gonna find Lulu all by herself right now.
Oh, Godby in a little bit of trouble. Ults himself, passes for that flash as well. Thank you with the command protect. And attack onto Godby, but that's more pressure onto this already hurting LGD team.
What's happening now here the last few minutes? Instead of Nils and Minty being able to win the 2v2 lane, Minty had to recall and obviously help Source on the top side earlier, so he was behind in experience. He wasn't that strong in the 2v2, but instead, because he was there to help Source earlier, he managed to pick up farm and experience, and he's really for it. So they sacrifice the bottom lane for their top lane, and then Acorn trying with this TB to make a big play, take a tower, get some kills onto him. It backfires completely because Nils read the situation and moved back. This guy's 17 years old, and he reached that so well.
And even though Imp is winning in CS, Origin as a team up 1,200 gold right now. And Expege, a player that was pointed as the most obvious mismatch in skill here, is actually winning his lane.
It's a great lane matchup against Gan. I love Orianna and Lulu.
Yeah, and that's good for him, but he's still doing it. Now the question is, as this game goes on, my concern for Origin is just how squishy they are. I mean, if a good engage comes in from LGD, if Malphite comes in, if the knockups aren't happening, now aren't LGD just going to tear them apart?
They can very easily take down that first target. You highlight yourself, so instead it's going to be Origin trying to pull the trigger. With Minty going into flash capers, you're going to have Source in the middle of it, and then of course Tinker trying to put the ball on someone. And we're going to get a massive wombo combo of so much magic damage. And then Nils kind of standing in backline being like, hey guys, I'm helping as well. But it's not really going to be about his damage in these fights. If Pekka and Source can coordinate with Minty, they can also one-shot some squishy members on the side of LGD. So it can go both ways, but it would be some very explosive team fights. We've had a fantastic early game already, go back and forth between the teams. I can't wait for a fight to break down. Come on, guys, do it.
Oh, they're going to be so much fun. Definitely. One more time with Feeling Free. They're going to be so much fun. There we go. Okay, now I'm believing it. I love mechanics. I want to talk about one more thing. So Peke is very likely to go a Zhonya's Hourglass second. Every single person not named Niels can dodge a Malfire by ultimate trivially easily. Yeah. Vladimir Pool, Repel, Zhonya's Hourglass, Kalista ulti onto the support. The hard engage, like you talk about picking that one guy off, that one guy could only be Niels. He's the only reliable engage, or target for the engage as we move later on into the game once the Zhonya's comes through, and that is honestly a concern. playing ultimate-based engage compositions are obviously very ulti-based, but those cooldowns are quite long.
Yeah, we're gonna have one of these games here for both teams where Flash, I mean, it's in every single game, so of course it always has a lot of value. This one even more. If you look at Imp here, if he dodges around the Shockwave and of course Source Wave, this big wombo combo for Origin, he will never die with a Lulu protecting him as well. Origin will not have any backline threat left. But at the same time, when Malphite flies in, you highlight yourself how people can dodge it with abilities, but then also with the Flash. Timbers down to one
Here we go. Yeah, they're going to try something, but Mippy and Neil's the ones who take a lot of damage. A turret does go down in favor of Origin, though. They get the mid lane.
On the summoner teleport from Xpeke, actually working to keep him in the mid lane and keep the pressure up. Amazing, who's been out front of the TVQ all game, shows up to knock the turret down. The bot lane is still going to PYL, probably the best bot lane at this tournament. They're doing work, but OG winning the rest of the map.
The adaptation to send Mithy on top and help Source was so key for them getting him ahead. So the two great matchup they had in the soul lanes could really start shining for Origin. They're head and form, they've taken down the turrets. Bottom lane is the only one standing now, so we could see a potential 5-man. There's double teleport. Pekka is running it in this game here. Haven't seen it used aggressive yet, but getting that for late game always has a lot of value.
Looks like that turret's finally going to fall to LGD. That'll be their second of the game as well, which should tie them up well in turrets, and fairly close to gold, I would imagine, too.
Yeah, but this is still a very close game here. Gabi looking for some aggressive plays to make. Pekka is out of mana, and TVQ's coming. Spots himself on a pick ward and says, you know what, never mind. But Pekka, teleport's still down, and he's going to hope to get his blue buff.
I mean, he was just powering up to hit that ward as hard as he could. TVQ hates wards, apparently.
Didn't even kill it, man.
He can't even do it.
Small girl instead takes out the pink ward, so Mithy gets that one. Amazing. Starting the dragon.
Oh, this is so fortunate. Imp just recalled for Triforce. They didn't go now. They couldn't contest this. And they sneak through the Triforce of Imp, and they get it easily with Ren.
That was crucial. Very well done by Origin there. Getting that first dragon, and I gotta say, this one already is a lot closer than people were thinking it might be.
Here's the way I always consider teams at World Championships, especially Western versus Eastern teams. We've certainly seen there's a very good game from like a KT Rolls for an SK Telecom where they deserve to win those games. Individual skill level is not actually that far apart of a World Championship. You're seeing Peke hold up against Godby, who's like the #3 player at worst in the world. Peke's not even on the list. He's doing just fine. It's how the team plays when the game breaks open. That's where the big differences are. And that's where the players start to shine when they're set up in these really good situations.
I thought we agreed we weren't going to bring up that top 20 list on the cat.
Brings
That's
all the top
dangerous
20
territory.
Yeah, Godby's in my top 3. Next Peke is, in a top 10 all time, but this year it's hard to contest for that.
So when we look at these two teams as well, though, and you just highlighted how the teams play outside of laning phase, outside of individual skill. It's not really something uncommon that LGD just gets super far ahead in the early game. We've seen this multiple times before, where still when it comes to the late game, with the decision making, with the team fights, and of course again the side lanes we keep talking about, how will they use them, is what really shines through here for LGD. Origin is a team that in the ULCS always had to do well in the mid game really to take wins. They had to get a lead going, and then they could start playing all 3 lanes as you see here. Nils up in top side, Pekka sitting in mid, and then Source on bottom lane. So
Meanwhile, tilt wins his fight. Play for Fisher. Shockwave. Double kill.
Instantly we see people coming down. We saw the roam from Gabi, 2 members dying for Origin. They will get a top tower, but down the bottom side, we have 3 guys still pushing for LGD.
Yeah, if they can make it a turret for 2 kills, that's about equal, but this bot lane already under fire, and it's likely to be an uncontested turret take, so definitely advantage LGD, and they're right back in it.
Just talked about how Origin likes to play the 3 lanes when it comes to farming. LGD, they can do exactly the same, because they're so good at everyone controlling how far up can I be, when can I take a one-on-one, and then just the roam coming down. Imp played it perfectly, waited for the rest of the team, got even flash forward. Look at this bait. PYL is recalling. PYL is coming, Source can't see him, it's completely dark in the jungle, but he thinks he has TP backup, that's why the ward is there as well. So now it comes in, but Godby's also moving, so it's too late, and Source already goes down the flash shockwave. We're going to see this multiple times in this game, and suddenly Origin loses 2 guys and a tower.
Well, teleport even canceled by Acorn too. He's like, nah, you guys got this. I'll handle it.
I think there was one also minor mechanical thing by Imp at the very end there. I don't think when he activated W, it popped his Triforce was still on cooldown. He actually cast another spell with the attack in the air to get the bonus damage on the auto attack to actually get the kill off on Xpeke. Wow. Either way, it was Triforce damage that did kill him. I didn't see exactly what charged it, but certainly good things there. Still some farm coming in for Callista, but I mean, Imp, 2 kills on a Kog'Maw with a Lulu on your team, that's so hard to deal with.
It is. I mean, Juggernaut is an apt title, I suppose. Even if it's not the classic comp that we know and love, this is still a Kog'Maw that will be nearly unstoppable if it keeps up at this rate.
It takes 3 more kills to be unstoppable. That's going to be probably not far away.
Literally unstoppable.
Literally, as far as the announcer is concerned. We'll hear it, and it'll be true.
I think you're right. Oh, they're putting a little bit of pressure in the jungle for LGD right now, trying to drop some wards, get a bit of vision. And it's smart. You know, you need to get some sort of edge, and wards are a great way to do that.
That's going to be a key thing for Origin. Keep pushing the mid lane every time you have the chance. It's so easy for an Orianna, just instantly clear the wave, and then it opens up for Amazing and Mythy to start moving into the jungle, get some of the deep vision. The problem is still that Nils on this Kalista, because of the way the early game played out, where Mythy had to leave and sacrifice a lot of experience, he never got to be the lane bully. So now he's two kills behind, and Imp is very confident in sitting in that side lane against him. No problem at all. Double teleport from Origin can be a big thing, but we obviously need to wait for Pekka to get his back before we might see another fight in the side lane, where suddenly 2 or 3 guys are joining in with globals and one guy is roaming down and we get one of these big skirmishes.
Well, it's only about a minute until Dragon comes up again. If there's going to be a fight, it's going to be around that objective.
And no flash from him. Again, look for it. We will keep highlighting it because there's so many abilities from Origin. There's going to be so key landing onto him. And if you get the whole combo from Origin, even the Lulu ulti should not be able to save him at this point in the game.
Yeah, they need some sort of CC to keep him safe.
There's going to be a 15-second difference between Dragon respawning and Pekka's teleport coming up, so choosing to use him as a split pusher, there's a small timing window where LGD can absolutely abuse that. Right now, using Soaz, he's, of course, very safe out on the side here.
TQ clearing a ward, another one dropped immediately by Amazing. They really want to have vision control around this Dragon.
Oh, and actually, Acorn doesn't have teleport, but he has to deal with a top lane push from Soaz, his TP advantage. It should give Origin this Dragon.
And Flash and Mythy as well to start the fight, and Acorn is extremely weak in this game.
He's running.
He's been forced to go for magic resist against, of course, Soaz here, so the damage is barely nothing from Acorn. He's just going to be an engage, and that's about it, and then maybe slow the attack speed of Nils. But I like this fight very early for vision around the Dragon. Even before it spawns, I believe yesterday the average time the Dragon was alive was 29 seconds.
Yeah.
This game here, because both teams are fighting for vision, it might be alive for a little bit longer because the fight should happen first and then Dragon after.
As long as LGD has vision control, though, there's no way you can react to the Malphite ulti in time, though. They're going to start right away to back control. Soaz is pushing in the top side, and Origin choosing to contest this instead of getting the push in. Minty up in the front line. Dragon already picked up. There's the dive!
Oh! Acorn helps him take out the Dragon. Minty barely alive. They're going to get Amazing, though. Another kill for him. Shockwave does nothing because there's no follow-up for Origin. That turret in top lane, though, in the base may go down.
Such a big mistake, though, from Origin, even walking in the river near that Dragon. So basically what they decided to say was, we're not going to fight you. You can start the Dragon because we have TP advantage. We will take the top tower, or at least a lot of it, and get extra farm on Vladimir. But then you should never move in the 4 guys even closer. You are open for this hard engage.
Vampires don't do very well against beings made of metal. Soaz on the run.
And it looks like he's happy to just suck oil out of it, actually playing in the Chinese client where the blood turns brown instead.
That does not taste good, I bet.
He's going to find the hard engage.
The Timbers on him. Mythy getting a little bit imp as well. Imp in big trouble. Flash goes on. He gets a kill on the Mythy. PYL goes down to support for support. How in the world is Imp living through this?
Due to PYL and his fantastic position on this Braum here, blocking all the damage from Nils. He sacrifices his own life, stays, or makes sure that Imp stays alive. No extra gold going over to Origin. They pulled the trigger, but PYL saved the day, at least for now.
They can Baron bait. They can Baron bait. It has to be in the base, and the guys kill us pretty fast.
They have no tank with armor that can tank this Baron. With 22 minutes in, 3 guys is around. It's too much.
With a Spiderling, with Spiderlings and an Orianna Shield and a Vladimir, I feel like you could do enough to if you weren't contested, you could do it, but you're right.
You would have to rush it down, and I think it's too risky at this point for Origin. They are still ahead in gold. We have a lot of actually going back and forth. Teams overstaying their welcome a little bit. Origin moving into the Dragon, open up for Acorn to engage. Imp now got flash tables obviously from Mythy as well. A lot of small fights going on. Still a big advantage for Soaz up in the top lane. Look at the gold here, but he hasn't been able to do anything with it just yet. He's still scaling up on his Vladimir.
And the thing is, Kog'Maw is actually one of the best champions in the game at killing off Vladimir. Percent health, magic damage. There's no MR on Soaz. Part of the reason Vlad's even tanky is the passive just gives him bonus health. It will shred through him in a team fight, especially if a single stun can land. And him having all the gold in his team, it's very scary for Origin to deal with.
Not to mention Jurassic Kog'Maw again. No blood.
No blood. It's amazing Soaz even tried to pick this champion. I mean, it's true.
Well, he didn't know this game before.
I mean, it's just like going into picks and bans. You know they could pick the champion. You know they could pick the skin. Why would you even bother when you know they could pick Jurassic?
It's a lore mismatch, big time.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yeah, well, PYL, TBQ. How many more like 3-letter acronyms can we get in this game, by the way?
I think it's Pul, PYL.
Pul?
You
think so?
Is that Danish?
Pul?
With the slash through it.
Yo, that's what he's supposed to do for him, right?
He's done a great job of it, actually. 4 assists on him. He's died for him.
Yeah.
Still 100%. The bot lane is all of LGD right now.
And LGD has done a very good job saying, okay, you're constantly pushing the mid lane. That allows Amazing and Mythic to walk into our jungle. We don't want that to happen anymore. We want to make sure we control our own side of the map. So look at the amount of pink wards defensively placed, so they can always see the invade coming. And they know, okay, Origin has no control in this area here. We can play around. They're trying, though, to deny division. They're going to see 2 of the guys getting 1 pink ward.
They know exactly what LGD needs to do to sort of keep themselves safe. So, of course, Origin's going to be looking for those wards and getting a couple already.
That's the interesting thing is Origin have the ability to play around the map so much better. Again, double teleport, a big mismatch in the Vlad versus Malphite one, who's still having to stack MR and has no CDR, so Acorn's actual fight power is even lower, his damage so much worse, and Origin just trying to play a split-up map. And they're honestly just trying not to have Imp in a fight somewhere, and unfortunately for them, he's already gotten into 4 of them.
Oh, a little blue steal from him. coming in, going to be able to get that buff. Double buffs on Kog'Maw, definitely something that every Kog'Maw player wants. A small smattering of applause for the blue steel, I guess.
It's almost annoying for Origin that this top lane is all the way down here to inhibit the turret so early on, because you cannot move all the way down and push it out and farm it. So there's always this lane that LGD can slow push back towards them every time they get it down here when old tier 2 turret work. And that means Origin always has to send the guys back in towards mid lane, and suddenly Nils and Xpeke are sitting next to each other, sharing farm and experience. It's never ideal when you run triple carries for themselves, so it's a little bit annoying for them. It's great to have the global gold, but I'm sure they would have preferred the bot end tower to be down at this time instead, and maybe just have it that way.
Well, so we're trying for that right now, in fact, and again, teleport up, and no one who's able to easily fight him aside from Kog'Maw. Maybe you can actually get some pressure done. Origin starting to really play around the top side of the map, but Scuttle Crab's already been taken by LGD, meaning Origin cannot faithfully go for a Baron sneak here.
I mean, I have a very, very big wave being pushed in the top side from LGD. Ooh. It's very easy for Origin to go and grab it, but Source needs to be careful that not 2 or 3 guys suddenly show up. Pekka can join in with teleport, we have to keep that in mind. But for now, continues to push it for himself. They need to get this wave coming on top side though, before it gets completely out of control. Just push it back. Nils is going there now.
Yeah.
So he's just going to shove it back in, and then LGD can do exactly the same. We have this wave that keeps bouncing between each other. Nobody can really kill each other's towers, because there's such a long route between the tier 2 and then here with the turret.
Alright, looks like mid lane's the push, and Xpeke is going to teleport just to make sure he can clear the wave in time, and it does so much damage. He has to respect Shockwave, which you saw him stop attacking there, but his turret is only 1 wave away from dying.
That's also only 15 seconds.
Oh, here comes Lulu.
Dragon comes up too. Yeah, Lulu coming down to help out. Soaz could be in trouble here. Acorn doing the damage. Soaz pops that pull, pops the emo play. He's still going to go down anyway. Wild Growth, though, had to be used. That's a crucial out of the way for this Dragon, but a crucial player out of the way for Origin.
Yes, they get the kill. Soaz here with, again, a little misplay. As soon as Pekka uses TP mid, Soaz has to back away. He knows there's a chance of 2 guys coming out to gank him, and the security before was Pekka being able to join. Obviously, he can't do that because he just used it in mid lane, so Soaz had to just back away and not risk dying here, because Origin cannot take a 4-man Baron when Acorn has teleport as well, and they have 3 guys sitting in mid. So LGD right now are using better knowledge around the cooldowns of these globals to get some kills, and now a Dragon more.
Yeah, he's having no issues at all taking this Dragon by himself, and that's Dragon number 2 now. LGD takes the lead in that objective.
Yeah, this is LGD showing why they're such a good team. I talked about individual players still being close in some occasions, but when the map opens up, you really see the mettle of the players and the decisions they're making here. Pekka's TP goes down, immediate gank bot lane, nothing taken by Origin. Meanwhile, the side lane's under control enough that nothing's getting picked up on the backside here. It's very, very strong stuff from LGD.
And simply what happened before here, with this big wave being pushed in the top side, and Nils had to go up and clear it and push it back, the mid lane was suddenly open. And that's what forced Pekka to use his teleport to go in and try and defend it. Origin should never been in that position in the first place, because they needed that second summoner to help Source on the bottom. That was kind of their way of getting the goal lead. Let Source continue to solo farm against Acorn, slowly push down his tower. They might catch TPQ here.
They did catch TPQ. A lot of CC coming down. They force a flat.
Oh,
Something good for the wall. Wild Growth used. I don't think it's going to be enough, though. He's going to go down. Niels with a kill there. Teleport in for Acorn. Teleport coming in for OG as well. Origin, Soaz joining the mid lane brawl.
Tibbers is still here for Minty, so Origin can now start the Baron and bait a team fight with Flash Tibbers onto him.
EYL goes in, and now here comes right to the fight. There's the hard time. They've caught amazing. He's forced to repel up. Now Minty the back lens gets stunned, gets jumped on. He's going to take a little bit of safety from Xpeke. He's trying to run, and actually somehow not going down. The Flash 4 gets the kill. Shockwave hits only 1, and Pekka is a member of a 3-death team here. That did not go well for Origin.
He's got to get away. It's incredible that if they didn't die sooner than they did.
But LGD, they punish everything you do. So it's a kill onto TBQ at first, but they see Pekka sitting in the mid lane. So when Origin is setting up around that Baron, LGD is like, well, your mid laner is not there, so we just instantly gonna hard engage with the Malphite. And once again, they catch out Origin, they get more kills from it. So we see a lot of good moves from Origin, but LGD just knows how to respond every single time.
It does seem that way.
LGD doing such an amazing job throughout their mid game here. The TP in from Acorn, he found a 2-man knockup, and the follow-up was so incredibly good here.
Look at Pekka sitting all the way back at his tier 1 or tier 2 towers. LGD is not afraid to just flash. It was Origin who was supposed to take control of this Baron with 5 members to 4, but that's the engaged Source drops instantly. Good ulti as well from Acorn, and now the fight is already won. So they're simply always, shot calling wise it seems, ahead of Origin, and therefore they can keep finding these openings in an otherwise very close game.
Yeah, that fight was PYL, by the way. The flash ulti knocked up Soaz before he could react, and then the Bromchi afterwards chained the stuns beautifully. Nothing he could have actually done in that battle whatsoever.
Didn't even get to use his Sonya.
Exactly, and that's why he went with the flash ult. The point-blank knockup can't be reacted to in time. That was a really, really big deal. One of the subtle things that make you a better player. PYL leading the charge here. 7 out of 8 field participation, really keeping his team alive and setting up the fights well.
Yeah, taking that blue buff for the second time, too. I mean, now we really see a shift in where people are in the map this game. Suddenly, everyone pushed over to Origin side.
We have a lot of cooldowns to teleport here. Only Pekka has his spread. They're going for him. He's all alone down the bottom lane.
But he's going to dodge through the minions.
Wow,
Shockwave dodge, but there's nothing else to do. Overextended. He's been solo pushing so much this game. This is the first time he's ever been punished for it.
That happens sometime.
Well, that was still really far off from him. So where we have now been commentating on some of the misplays from Origin where they were in the map, Imp now makes a big mistake for himself. staying so far up the lane, just all alone. The rest of his team were sitting in mid lane. Nothing they could do to really respond, and they couldn't push a tower either because Origin were ready to defend it.
It feels like Origin aren't tenacious enough to really take any major advantages. All of the gold and almost all of the kills are on Imp. He's still dead for 15 seconds, but Origin has still yet to pressure an objective. Finally, pecking back to the bot lane. I guess he's got teleport. He can knock down bottom outer, finally. But to only get an outer turret at 31 minutes for picking up the AD carry, that's less than he should be getting.
I guess it does tie up the turrets a little bit. He's just got to worry about LGD pressuring Baron now. He's still going in the bot lane, though.
He has TP ready.
He does.
Again,
No one's reacting to him. Pekka can keep going. He thinks someone's going to defend, but Acorn doesn't have teleport. Acorn is not allowed to be down here. Pekka doesn't realize it. This should be another turret kill.
double teleport. He's playing it safe because the rest of his team is back in base, so he doesn't technically know.
He has no wards to see.
Yeah, if 2 or 3 guys suddenly show up and kill him, but having double teleport in the late game just offers you so much map control. It's way better than having like an offensive summoner in this situation for Pekka because again he had a free laning phase against the Lulu, and also he now gets the split pushing threat where Malphite. We know Malphite is a one-trick pony. TP in, ulti someone, and your job is done. And that's what Acorn's going to do again and again, but whenever that is gone, he's not going to do a whole lot. And that's why we can see an opening for Origin to continue split pushing.
Wow, fan vote going to 76% now as far as who they think is going to win this game. And Origin with a tiny little lead right now, perhaps. I think this one is, I would say, our closest game of Worlds yet.
Yeah. And to be this neck and neck at 33 minutes, absolutely. And honestly, I think many people are surprised that it is this close. LGD stacked with talent, and Origin still making it work for this one. It's going to be close. The double teleport roughly back up now for Origin. See if they can open the map up again.
And while almost nothing can beat a Juggernaut in the late game, I was talking about the Alex Newell taking some damage. Engage might happen.
Just a bit. Not a lot. Able to back off. TBQ got cocooned. A bit of damage as well, but so far nobody really poked out significant.
At the 10th point, though, you know there's a battle about to brew. Dragon spawns in 3 seconds here.
Oh, yeah.
Origin cleared mid first. They've come down the Dragon first as well.
There's too many wards behind Origin here. There's so many good openings for Acorn to teleport in and just get that perfect flank where it's so difficult to react.
I think he's going to try. Dragon started now by Origin.
LG are setting up a Baron bait instead. They've actually got all the wards.
It's way too late, though. It's a very late Baron bait for
But there's
LGD.
no vision. Oh, like, there's a blue trinket up, but he's not ready to use it yet. LGD can play with fog.
They know it, though, on the side of Origin.
There it is.
They saw him sit in the mid lane. They reacted very late after Dragon was started. Obviously, the team can take it out so fast. Mid-3 has flash again.
Whoa.
So Origin have inside track on mid. If they're tenacious, they can go mid tier 2 and force LG to come into them. They're trying now.
Oh, yeah, look at this.
Everybody's
They're
coming
coming
from
out
the
mid lane. They're going to try to go. It's going to be a pincher maneuver. They're all grouped up. They got to be careful here. They're coming in. Is okay. Amazing. Takes a lot of damage. So I was trying to get to the back line. He did get hit by Emo play. Expect is okay. Big old shockwave for that shockwave. The wall growth. He keeps it alive. Expect gets a solo good.
That was the combo. They got it onto him. They got the beautiful shockwave. Everything was used to protect him, but it wasn't enough. We highlighted how much damage Origin will have if they pull off the combo, and they did.
Can they win it? The star comes in. Is it going to be Pekka's back to go? Is it going to be no? It is rookie split. Gets the A's and the inhibitors down, and Baron can be next.
Look at the side lanes here, though. Origin has to go back and defend all these turrets. Just send one guy. You can still do Baron, though, with the rest. Let's see on the side of LGD. There's still 25 seconds on Acorn. He just died. Pekka will stop the wave here. That team fight, it wasn't even like Soa's ulti into Shockwave. It was just one by one they came in, and in the end, Pekka pulled through. This is a guy who's been criticized so much this season.
Yeah,
Being past the mid lane.
looking at the constant trouble. Coming in later, Conte uses one girl. TBQ still alive for a moment. I mean, here comes him. The damage coming in. It's the kill. And they turn it around. Origin chasing him. He goes down. TBQ goes down as well. Origin takes the fight. Double kill for Niels. And that is nearly an ace. Only Godby and Acorn surviving.
3 for 2, and Godby's not even done being part of this one. Would you believe it? Origin now soundly in the lead against the #1 team from China.
And I gotta say, it is off of great plays like this. Let's watch it again.
All right, let's see. So first, Cocoon very amazing. I'm only looking at Imp here. Everything is on him. If you look at Origin, they're focused. They throw in mid, he knocks him off. That's the Y growth being used, and then it's Shockwave coming in. Such an insane amount of damage. Beautiful chain CC, but again, do it. You wanted them to throw in Mithy, and they did.
They did it.
And it set up everything for Pekka to get the kills.
Bloodthirsty, man. That's how you play with an Annie. Just toss right in there.
One of the biggest problems there was actually Acorn's teleport. He TP'd in on the other side from his team, so there was no real front line to absorb the CC, to buffer the team back. Origin did not have to respect Malphite because they could run away from Malphite into the Cosmo. The lack of front line meant so much they would allow these guys to catch up to Imp's Cog.
And we're hitting the point here where LGD, yes, they have 2 hard engaged champions. One of them has done absolutely nothing in the Vibe pick, but TPQ, he tried to lock up Mithy in that last fight and see maybe he could delay the tippers. But now, because they have 3 very, very strong carries on the side of Origin, that hard engage becomes so difficult to use properly because all Origin care about is killing Imp. There's no damage from Malphite, there's no damage from the Vi, there's no damage from the Lula really because she's shielding onto Imp. So as long as you wombo combo him, you win the fight.
And that's the thing is, the weird thing is there's so many threats on Origin, so through all their composition. Peke is the big one, by the way. He's got triple Dante's damage. He's got double anyone else on his team. Peke is the man in this one. All eyes are on him as the weak link, but he is overperforming.
The passive mid laner Origin, they don't play around him in the early game, but they do like to really rely on him in the late game. He's shown it before in this split here, how strong of a team fight he is. And also, can we just highlight that every single time we have a big tournament, Peke will always show up.
Well, he certainly is today, man. His stats inhibitor turret getting lower and lower. Still 2 cannon minions remaining, and Origin, all they need to do is keep doing what they're doing, and they'll close this one out.
Depends how much more they can do. Baron buff counting out in about 30 seconds here. LG looking for the attempt. TBQ cannot find anything to do. 0, 4, and 1 on this fight.
Dario,
like
from TBQ's life.
Champions away.
He's really not been able to do anything in this game here.
Oh, Acorn caught with that stun.
Yeah, you can't jump out of Malphite. Origin response to know it is the Kog'Maw that matters. He is the only damage source. Cinderhook by not exactly scary.
Not a whole lot. That turret nearly dead. Just a couple more autos, and it's going to be gone.
He is on 4 items now.
Yeah.
The Void Step and Death Cat both in. Makes him a threat on the right target field.
It helps. It does clear waves pretty well, too.
Acorn's coming.
Oh, he is trying to go in. Oh, he has to see how they get out of an Acorn has retreat. Well, growth already used on the end. There's an Akab under amazing. Dark Wave coming in, so gets to the back with a big emo plague. Meanwhile, LGD, they lose TBQ, and here comes Origin coming in to get Shimmer's drop. It's still alive, but it's not going to save the turn. They're going to lose an inhibitor for sure.
And Origin's going to keep on going. LGD needs to buy home guards and heal back up, but there's already 2 inhibitors dead. Origin able to walk away with a clean 1 for 0. 2 in his gone. The play. He's got no teammates. He's trying to stop recalls. Dragon's up in 6 seconds.
Recalls for what? That was the most useless teleport.
I think it's literally to try to get Dragon. I think that was literally the only reason why he did this. Origin are now injured on this Dragon attempt, but it's too desperate to try.
I think it's going to die so fast, not going to matter if you trying for a Miracle Seal, doesn't get it. Another Dragon goes over to Origin as they back away. Victorious over that big, long skirmish on the bottom side of the map.
So the base is open. 5 Dragons is not going to be a thing. It's 3-2 at the moment. Baron is not alive. But Origin are so strong right here. We saw the engagement from Acorn for how easy it was for him to flash it, max range Malphite ulti, and then they can turn around. Godby, at the start of the fight, will just instantly ulti on him. They're like, okay, Imp, they're going to come for you. Full team. Source in this fight, he got a 5-man, 4-man ulti at least. They have so many threats, and they have so much damage. It's insane.
Origin has played around this hard engage so well. They've minimized the impact of the Vi. They've taken away the impact of the Malphite completely at this point.
So
Check this out.
I want to see the teleport here from Acorn. So he comes in from the side instead of running straight at them. So they're ready with the flashes. They're sitting with the finger and ready to use it. And then Soaz comes in the back line. TBQ goes down, and the fight is already won now from Origin. Acorn has to use the teleport there to flank from the side to make it hard of Origin to avoid that engage.
So here we go. 9 turrets picked up, a 7,000 gold lead. I mean, the curious thing is, for as well as Origin's playing, it's a 3-kill difference. Dragons are only 1 apart, and 7,000 gold at 41 minutes is not the craziest gold lead. This is certainly still comebackable. That's a word for
Comebackable.
They've got a big Kog'Maw, and if he can outplay the Shockwave in the Annie, he can crush this front line still. You still got to respect LGD's back line.
Well, we saw the amount of gold lead that Origin got with that Baron power play, man. It was like 3,500 gold in the lead, yeah. That's huge.
That is obviously with the Baron as well as what they got after.
Right.
But you highlight yourself here. Imp is still a massive threat. If Origin has a team fight where they do not manage to land these ultis that are so key for their composition to work, Imp will then take them down 1 by 1 by 1. Again, the tanky members here we're looking at amazing, basically, and that's nothing even as a Rylai's. That's going to be a few hits for him, and he's down. And then suddenly, he will just chase them down and take them out.
You know, they do have to be careful, yeah. I mean, like you said, killing him basically kills LGD. But if you can't kill him, he could kill your entire team.
Yep, exactly. So it's still very tricky for Origin. There's a lot of pressure on how they can perform in the fight, but so far, they have been able to pull it off. Baron is spawning, they're setting up vision in advance. They're going to try and bait LGD to walk straight into them, and then you get an easy engagement.
Oh, Shockwave has to be used on him early just for Xpeke to keep himself alive. That'll take it down, going right to Baron. But Soaz going after the base now.
But the Baron is not breaking out TP in. This is the wrong choice. LGD are going to lose their base if they go for Baron. They're going to stop the recalls. Amazing there. It's okay if he does. Soaz can make up for his mistakes through left worlds against the left team. And they're going for the base. The base can't get it there. The Malphite's in, but the next is still dying. Kills are already going to do their own anyway. And Soaz extinguishes the ghost in the past. He will slowly but surely get enough damage down. He has to. He's like, they're running for LGD, but it's going to be enough. Soaz is a winner with an Origin beat LGD.
That was insane. Xpeke's like, hey, I'm supposed to be the guy doing that. But this time, it's Soaz. Origin takes down one of the contenders China's the reigning champion right now. Edward Gaming won the mid-season invitational. Then LGD won up them and became the #1 seed from China. And Origin were a challenger team last split.
With a lot of veterans who had so much experience.
It's true.
The whole split, the whole season for Origin has been fantastic. You said it yourself, they were a challenger team. They won, of course, the Challenger Series. They came into the LCS. We didn't know really what to expect from them, but they just showed up big time from the start. Great mechanics of these players here, able to execute some of these strong and very hard-to-play competitions like this one, where you need to really time your ultis correctly. And they pull it off against a team that we keep saying has the most stacked lineup at Worlds, with superstars in almost every position. Such a good game from Origin. LGD really made sure they had to work for it, because there was so much back and forth in the early game.
It was so close.
Very high-level game. Very high-level game, and the best we've had so far.
That was a fantastic game, man. And what a huge, huge game for the crowd here in Paris, too. To see Origin take out a team like LGD. And, man, this group is wide open at this point. Who knows what's going to happen now?
I mean, absolutely. Even TSM was a bit of a threat up against KT Rolster here. All down the line, every one of these teams could do something. LGD, you saw their face a second ago. They are shocked this even happened.
I think we all are.
I know the Twitter vote was like 76% Origin, but if you ask
Twitter's always
any analyst who should have, like, who was not supposed to win this game, but who was favored to win this game, I mean, it's like 99.
Oh, yeah. There's a massive upset.
Massive
from Origin.
upset.
There were 3 teams people said coming into Worlds would go to the final, be able to win the final: SKT, LGD, and EDG. And we just saw Origin take down one of them. It's such a great showing. But overall, man, these team fights, and Expector with his Orianna, showing up when it really matters.
The team fights were spectacular. The way they handled the hard engage for LGD was equally spectacular. A well-deserved win from Origin. Nothing fluke about that. It's a surprise. It's an upset, but it was an extremely well-played game.
Absolutely. And there were so many cool things that happened here. So the split push threats that were here were actually a really, really big deal, because even though you had this Pogba get ahead early, one really well-played tower dive by LGD got him 2 kills, then a bad dragon fight by Origin gave 2 more kills to the Cog Clan. Like, no one can stop him. It was SOAS getting a lot of split push early on. 2 turrets were killed by that Vladimir quite early on. That gold buffer gave a lot of room for Origin. And they just played the split push very well. Double teleport, sometimes very hard to contend with. They opened up a lot of the map this way.
LGD is going to look at this pick and ban phase and say, did we show our hand too early? Because we saw the amount of counter picks coming in there. Orianna was great into the Lulu, which got moved to the mid lane. You highlighted, Akon could have taken it topside, but they wanted some hard engage all of a sudden. And we had basically good matchups for Origin in every single lane, which also allowed them to run double teleport, because you don't need an offensive summon against a Lulu. And that was very key for this team.
Now you can see here in a second that we will have SOAS and Expeke up in the interview lounge with Shox. That'll be very soon. I imagine there's going to be quite the crowd uproar when he does finally show up there. But, I mean, thinking about this game, the split push worked very well. The team fights actually, I know last game we talked about having a split push comp versus having a team fighting composition, TSM not wanting to be part of the 5v5. Origin seemed happy to be like, yeah, you got a big Kog'Maw, but we're happy to come back into you guys and go for the hard engage and try to kill the 8 carry.
I think really the key was when they saw the Malphite Vi coming in, and they're like, okay, so you have some protection with the Lulu, with the Braum, but now you're running so much hard engage, which cannot really do anything against our triple threat, because again, we have so much damage. Even if you take out one guy, we might still be able to take the fight. And again, just getting the counter picks with the Vladimir. The way in the lane, so it looked bad at first for SOAS because he got denied quite a bit. He was on 0 CS, but then Mithy came up and Mason came up to help him. So they sacrificed the other lanes to make sure SOAS was farmed enough, and that was key.
That was a really big deal, so a great game by Origin overall. But for now, we're going to check in with Shox, who is joined by 2 of the victorious members of Origin.
Thank you so much. Indeed.
And welcome back, everyone, to our 2015 World coverage coming to you live from the Doc Pullman in Paris, France. My name is Julian Pastry Time Karen. Ganking the caster booth with me is Sam, Kirby, Hartman, Kensler, and Mitt Crippo Force.
Support Jungle Room.
Yeah. Got that synergy going on. We're going to move on to our 4th match as Edward Gaming is going to take on the Bangkok Titans. First of all, let's take a look at the starters for Edward Gaming, who are out on the blue side. In the top lane, it is Amazing J, the jungler Clearlove, their mid laner Pawn, the 80 carry Def, support maker, and their coach Xing Chi, better known as Coach Aaron.
I mean, if we go back all the way to Spring Split, EDG, they got to MSI because they beat LGD there in the playoffs. They made the MSI fantastic performance. Coming to summer, they were hype team, they performed, they did well, but then all the way at the end, they started slumping again. They didn't do well in their playoffs. They dropped matches to IG, LGD, but then in regionals, they came back. They ended up clinching the 2nd seed from the LPL to Worlds, and they really looked good, especially with Amazing J in the top. With Amazing J in the top laner, that top half of the map is just so incredibly strong. Probably one of the stronger ones in the entire tournament, and that's just going to be fun to see.
And it's rough as well to make such a late change, but clearly trusting in their substitute player there.
Yeah, they have both Korra here and Amazing J, different playstyles. Korra obviously brings to the field a more teleport-oriented playstyle. People would say, obviously, he can play all the champions too. It's not like he's a bad player or anything. But Amazing J, yeah, with those carries coming out in the later patches, the Juggernauts, you know, more aggression coming out of him. Clearlove and him working well together, do it only at the starts, then ganking for him, just getting him ahead. And then meanwhile in the bot lane, people just playing passive, farming it up.
Yeah.
But once those C fights start, they're so strong.
I think a lot of it does have to do also, there are a lot of rumors going around, was Koro sick? He missed out some practice time. This is a patch where you have to be practicing as much as you can to come in because, as we've seen already, the champion select gets crazy.
Certainly does. An Amazing J can do crazy, but let's have a look at the red side of the rift now. It's the international wildcard and the first team ever to represent Thailand at Worlds. They also have the honor of beating Oceania as the Chiefs. It is the GBL Bangkok Titans in the top lane there. Captain Warlock, 007X, the jungler, star mid laner G4, 80 carry support, Lloyd and Moss, and Coach Cabbage rounding out support.
Yeah, these guys also earlier this year, the GPL was split with a lot of talent going to the LMS. So these guys actually rose to the top of the GPL. They finished second in the spring season and then finished first in the summer season. And from there, as you said, they were able to earn their ticket to Worlds through the international wildcard by eventually taking down the OPL's Chiefs. A big part of what enabled them to do that as well was the way that they do play around their mid laner. You already mentioned him, G4. He's going to be a big part of what brings this team together. He's a bright star for them. They like to put a lot of resources into him. He can also create a lot of pressure on his own by split pushing in the side lanes. Titans are also very big underdogs here, though. So I do expect them to go for strong laning champions, both in the mid and in the bottom lane, and try and rush some sort of advantage for themselves that way. While Warlock will probably take one of his customary take champions up in the top lane.
I mean, they just want to find out just how big the gap between them and EDG is. G4 touted as one of the best mid laner there in that region, but the problem is he's going up against Pawn, so he's definitely going to be down. Just a matter to see how much, how long can they hold on. But we've seen EDG also play against some wildcard teams in the past, and a lot of teams when they face wildcard teams, they have this element of strategy where they're like, let's just lean back. We know we're the better late game team. Well, EDG, they like to do the opposite.
Yeah, exactly. They just like to go for the gullet. They rush as soon as they see any sort of weakness, especially if Pawn gets something like TF. We've seen him run over so many teams so quickly, basically using the ultimate on cooldown. One example would be at MSI versus Besiktas. EDG were able to get, at 18 minutes, a 17,000 gold lead.
Yeah.
And the score was 19-2. So, versus wildcard teams, traditionally, EDG just likes to put the pedal to the metal and try and end as quickly as they can. So it's very scary.
It doesn't even have to be against wildcard teams. In the first round of regionals, they faced up against Snake, which isn't a bad team by no means. It's a good LPL team, and they just said, well, we want to get to Worlds. We're done slumping. Here's a statement. They completely won that game against Snake. That's it. And it just went on for the regionals. Had a nice match against IG, but they still were the better team. Overall, got that second seed. That's why they got here. And I'm just curious to see how much they still progress from that. Is EDG playing perfect right now? Where are they in the state? How well have they adapted to these new pick and bans? Because they've already brought out some of them, but still got to see the Darius. Mordekaiser, is he going to come out?
Yeah, I'm really excited for the pick and bans, just because of what we already saw earlier today, but also because even watching the Bangkok Titans, they pull out a lot of champions that even people previously, when the meta was fairly settled, were not using that much. They have all kinds of things like the Udyr, Mundo was used, Sedwani, all these different champions that they pull out not only in the top lane, but also in the jungle there. And G4 has said he's also not afraid of picking counter-pick weird champions in the mid lane, those melees like all AD J4 and stuff like that. So they as well can come out with some surprising choices.
You really can, and that's the thing about G4. Zed, Diana, these picks we're starting to see a little bit more of. G4 was doing that before they were back in the metagame. He just loves to play his comfort pick. Even pulled out Yasuo as a surprise pick to take out the Chiefs in the wildcard tournament. So G4's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve.
Yeah, I mean, not quite as much success with the Varus, but
no, unfortunately.
I'm just so happy to see the mid lane shift away from just Azir and Victor. And even though that's what we said at the analyst at the start, guys, Azir and Victor, they're gone. What happens in the first match? Azir versus Victor. But overall, we see a lot more champion diversity, playstyle diversity. You can go for assassins, you can go for control mages. You can build so many more team comps right now. It's not set in stone, especially if you enter into normal lanes and the whole game gets just a new dynamic. We haven't even seen Mordekaiser yet. It's just so exciting. And the first 2-3 days, I think, from Worlds, we're going to learn a lot of how these teams have been scrimming behind the scenes, in the dark. This is the first time in very long amount of time that these teams have way more information than the public. Usually we track week to week LCS, what have they been playing, what is going to come out.
I've been prying into as many pros as I possibly can to try and get some insight. The main, and you're just you're not unlucky is I guess the term that you guys like to use.
That's the year term, unlucky. But if you look at the team comp here for EDG, first thing you see is so much physical damage, and usually that is a worrying trend. But overall here, those AoE crit buckets you can get from Zeke, that allows you to just do so much damage that armor doesn't really matter. You have armor penetration passively on that Gangplank barrels as well. Slightly nerfed right now, 40% just, but overall, there should still be plenty of damage on the side of EDG.
Yeah, there is that. That definitely does clear up the build path for Warlock, though.
Yeah, those are hard boys.
He knows exactly what he's going to do with this now. Okay.
And I mean, it's a very typical comp from both teams, honestly. Deft on a champion he was once undefeated on until the team started slumping just a bit in the OPL. And Zed, of course, the insta-lock coming up for G4 makes a lot of sense.
I'm just a little worried here for the Bangkok Titans.
Yeah.
They can fall behind in damage relatively easy. Like, they can fall behind super quickly. They only have Vayne and Zed as carries in these fights. That's going to require some really good positioning when you're going ahead against the zone from Darius, the zone from a Gangplank, and you have to get to that Jinx somehow. Kill them all with only 2 threats. That's going to be incredibly hard.
It is definitely going to be scary for them. But as you said, G4, this is basically his favorite champion, iconic G4 champion. He's going to be on the Zed. Maybe they'll be able to get to the split pusher.
And with the picks locked in, head over to Twitter and let us know how you think this game will go. Tweet at LOL Esports with the hashtag EDG win or hashtag BKT win, and we'll tally up the votes in just a bit. And it looks like we are going to be getting ourselves onto the Rift as Z2's team take to the World Championship stage for the first time here in Paris. EDG over on the left, your blue side for this game, and the Bangkok Titans, the wildcard team, over on the red side.
All right, let's see how quickly they get out to start and capture these spires for Clear Love.
A little mini game added on as Skarner got into the game.
You can start on the ones in the river and collect them immediately and still get back to a normal jungle start.
They're not proccable until like 1 minute, 1:15. Right?
Yeah.
It takes a while.
You can easily finish the channel, though, and get back in time. We'll see if Bangkok Titans try and contest them to the minion objectives first.
Oh, Def. Got a bit of flair there with that new summoner icon. Always looking good.
I think it's likely we'll see a lane swap come out of Bangkok Titans. So having to play Vayne, Braum into Jinx Slash, you just get outranged by both. You're playing one range, one melee, into double range. Not only that, it's so incredibly hard to get to death. Because even if you proc the Winter's Bite, one flay is enough to peel you off. You're never going to proc that stun. And then he outranges on level 1 already, Def. And as the game goes on, those rockets are just going to be such an easy trade into the Vayne every time.
Well, trying to get taken there as EDG just moving up, but like you mentioned, there is that lane swap happening. Def staying out of range of that Trinket Ward by the looks of things here, a minute 45 in. So it's going to be straight to those 2v1 lanes.
Yeah, and if you look at the top lane, how diversified the meta is already. This is the 7th different top laner that we've seen today. Darius has only been the only one repeating champion. So overall, yeah, the meta is shifting, and if people are still finding their stride, maybe towards the later stage of the tournament, we'll see some repeats on some champions. But from solo queue experience, Darius, he hurts.
He does.
Very true. He also heals. All right, so Mako and Def going to actually take the blue buff themselves here. Started out, so a double blue buff start. Bangkok Titans, it looks like they are 100% going to get 3 buff here.
Yeah, they lane swap, but what they did is they only secured 1 quadrant of their jungle. I know you love talking about those quadrants, Kobe. Aggressive invade, just to spot if they're jungling on the right side of the map, EDG starts double jungle on the left side of the map, they're going to get such a big experience lead. And Bangkok Titans, yeah, this is what we see. 4 back again, lane.
He flashes! Block it down!
Oh, the flash twisted advance. He gets a minion instead there.
25 gold?
Well, I don't think he killed the minion either, but Pawn, they did get the flash out of Pawn, but again, this is what we're talking about. They like to pour all their resources into the mid lane, finish off one jungle quadrant, and immediately try and go for.
Not everybody can be double dodged. That honor is just laid away for a specific amount of people. Just doesn't really work.
Is a god.
Well, the Bangkok Titans, Moss going to check that brush with his Winter's Bite. Doesn't quite get it though.
Yeah, EDG though, punishing Bangkok Titans very heavily for that super safe start where they started actually on their strong side of the jungle, so not going to have much more to farm here.
Yeah, look at Moss right now. He confirms his Darker Sphere. That entire jungle is empty. So by proxy, you can deduce that EDG's remaining members went to the down right side of the map, then the up right of the map, which means they're about to get a dive here of 4 against 2. And EDG, they're clean enough to execute this.
And this ward that Mako just dropped, I love it. That's where you see the top laners coming in to teleport as well. They don't need him because he walked all the way here. 4 versus 2.
Here comes the dive play. Back there, Wall getting low. Mako, he's in trouble. He flashes up, but Jet, he's getting first blood. That's a double kill for the Jinx.
This is the tempo that we're talking about for EDG. They do not like to let you have a moment's respite.
Yeah, an incredibly clean execution. Mako starts tanking. He gets out before he dies. By that time, Def has 1 kill, 2 kills. Now his double buff tower's dying. Wall comes back. He wants
Oh my god! They're going to get locked up. Clear looking for the stun. Def wants a 3rd kill. Oh, that's good. Rocket follows Def. Gets himself 3 kills in 4 minutes.
All right, that was definitely painful to watch. They punish the lane swap. They go for the early dive. Successful dive and a repeat there after the teleport is also blown. They even have teleport advantage. Okay, the one thing for Bangkok Titans is Lloyd has been free farming.
Yeah, Lloyd is actually on even CS with Deft, and that is an accomplishment. But Deft, it is 4 minutes, 45 seconds in the game. He has now acquired 2,000 gold sitting in the bank, ready to be spent. So he can basically get a BF sword when Lloyd is still struggling. He's 3-0 already. This is going to get a real ugly real quick.
Yeah.
We did expect it to be bloody early, so.
We did, and that's the EDG power, really. We've seen them dive teams of all different calibers over and over again. SK Telecom sure know the feeling of getting dived by EDG.
Yeah, Boots here picked up. In addition to that BF sword, Dev says, okay, I'm done in the bot lane. I'm just going to go top lane and fight Lloyd because he hasn't really seen too many EDG members overall. Amazing day ahead of Warlock in, not in farm, but 2 levels up, I think, in XP overall. So EDG, yeah, completely in control already.
And teams should take note. Yes, this is a massive lead for EDG, and they've got a huge favorites to win this. However, EDG being able to finish out when they get leads this big is something that you need to pay attention to. Immediate pickup on pink boards here, immediately looking for deep vision. They're trying to cut off any sort of resources from Bangkok Titans.
Dev can now aggressively trade with that red buff and those rockets, and immediately, as you said, how do you snowball an advantage? You pair your jungler with your support. You aggressively move and you find the enemy jungler. Once he's out, you can't even gank anymore because you know exactly where he is. And Pawn, even though he got ganked early, he had to blow his flash. He's now completely controlling the pace in the mid lane against G4. So Bangkok Titans, they're crumbling left, right, and center already.
Yeah. Just at 6 there as well, so ultimate going to be available for the next bit of EDG aggression. Mako is going to move his way towards the mid, but does go for the recall. It's amazing, Jay. Happily 1v1 in the bottom side as Jet is mowing through this turret.
It's going to be very scary here. Dev can easily get resets in these team fights, even on the front line. No matter how much money Warlock pours into armor, Dev is just so far ahead. It's a really unfortunate feeling as a tank when you know you have a clear path, and yet you just can't get enough money off of the map to even take a couple rockets from Jinx.
Also, if that lane ever matches up 1v1, Vayne against Jinx gets incredibly hard. The worst part of that matchup is BF plus pickaxe against Cutlass. If you ever find yourself in that situation, you rarely do because the way the game plays out traditionally. But after a 3-0 Jinx start, there's no trading you can do. Jinx would be outrageous. Mako comes in, Lantern.
Again, ulti up from Pawn as well. G4, good dodge over the exhaust is out from Pawn. Follows in, looks for the start. Ulti up from G4, is going to try and save his life. But a Trump is going to give Death his kill number 4.
Look how quickly they go to the mid turret here. This one will be knocked down pretty much effortlessly. Nobody from Bangkok Titans can come up to rotate and try and defend with Rek'Sai here, so she'll probably be on her own, and that's going to be another outer turret for EDG fairly shortly here. Actually, they're not even trying to pressure it unless they eat Death there. They're left with eyes for bottom lane.
And they're probably just not used to being this far ahead this early overall.
They've done it before. We talked about the Basheep this game. Well, we'll keep track and see if they actually
if they can beat that record. But yeah, overall
trials.
Time trials. They're playing against EDG's Ghosts, in those map races. But overall, EDG, they don't extend these laning phases either. Like, they choose to move Deft away from that bot lane and then go top for some more pressure on the tower. They don't really play the solo queue game where they keep going 2v2 and try smashing each other just for a kill on them base. So they're really playing the map right now. They went for a tower. Deft, yeah, kind of afraid whether Boss is in there or not because Mako was moving before. Now Mako comes back, and that should be a very, very easy 2v2 here.
Safety net is back here for EDG. They're up 3,000 gold already. 8.5 minutes in.
Now, hard mode is to look at this and try and find the way for Bangkok Titans to try and get back in this. And they do have at least a brutalizer completed here for G4. He is stuck in mid lane right now. They also, it's going to be very hard for them to have a lot of vision to work with.
That was well executed, but yeah. Hobbs getting poked out here. He actually needs to save that shield somehow.
That is going to go in. Looks like Slow is going to miss. No ulti out there from Death. They'll give it up this time, but pressure really on in the bottom lane.
The only way he's going to win that trade is if he can save the first hit on his shield for the Jinx ultimate to negate that damage, because otherwise they're never going to win 2v2. But yeah, he gets zoned out immediately. Yeah. G4 putting some pressure on Pawn here, but it's an orange.
Yeah, I was going to start talking about G4 roams, but again, Pawn is on Gangplank. He has the ultimate ready, so he can even answer that roam. And just sending the ultimate is actually enough to turn the tides since EDG are so far ahead. So,
and since their top lane jungle combination from the Bangkok Titans, your 007X and Wallach are just so low damage, if they fall behind, it actually gets quite scary to gank Darius. He can take you out 2v1, especially with the reset mechanic on that ulti. So, coming in.
Yeah, going back G4, looking to try and get out of clear. Ulti, no Mako, follows in with a hook that damages down. Ulti's used, but Pawn's going to get the kill.
This may very well be the first perfect game here. Well, Fnatic, they were close. They were 1 kill away in their first game today. So if EDG can avoid dropping a tower, maybe that's what they're playing for now. Instead of just playing for the victory, they want a perfect game.
Cancel some recalls there.
Need some more AD for that to work. And you see Dev.
Cancelled recalls are very important at this stage, though. Even a couple seconds here. That's probably going to buy them Dragon.
Yeah, again, more tempo, more objectives. But Dev, this is something we see a lot in the LPL. Even when ahead, these guys like buying average plays. These are like their insurance. If somehow something goes wrong, at least I'm getting GP10. I'm not sure if I agree with it in every situation, but
true definition of avarice.
Certainly is. As Dragon number 1 is going to go to EDG, forcing them away with that ult from Jeff just to make sure Bangkok Titans couldn't get there. And again, the lead continues to build here for the LPL team.
All right, let's see how Bangkok Titans are at setting up defensive warding now, because that is the emergency mode you have to go into. Try and set up defensive wards in your jungle. Here goes J though. Still straight on Maokai. He is Maokai though, so.
Relatively tanky. Amazing J came out of late swap, only has some assists, only the phase completed so far, so Warlock should be relatively, but look at the position of that wave also. It's pushing backwards, so EDG controlling waves, trying to find out where the enemy jungle is, not making any rash decisions. They don't need any of those fancy outplays. Generally, all their kills have come from outnumbering their opponents. Like reading the map and then making that play.
Exactly. When you're this far ahead, all you really need to do is continue to pressure all three lanes because you're stronger in all three of them and ward up the jungle so that Bangkok guys can't move from lane to lane and can't farm anywhere. Basically, you want to cut off any way for your enemy to farm.
Yeah, you just start them out, especially if they do manage to sneak past you and get a numbers advantage somewhere on the map, you can simply cross map them. Take a tower somewhere else, take some jungle camp somewhere else, and it's incredibly hard to get out of that stranglehold. Once it's in that position, once it's being executed, it's almost too late to come back. This is why we saw, early season 3, Split Push was so popular because teams couldn't deal with it. Just like Lloyd may not be able to deal with this.
Going in. Lloyd actually has to pop his ulti. Moss and double 7x will get in. Mako, maybe the target is cleared up, does get stunned by the raw passive death. He's either going to pop the ulti and melee range pop. First kill onto Lloyd, but G4's going to come out. Double 7x. He'll die as death. He's going to flash his way out, but can they get their kill? G4 will land a shutdown with the dunks. Going to give Darius a double.
They kill Death, they deny the perfect game. But G4's back under.
Oh, flash! Gets himself to safety, but EDG and not so. They'll plow straight through mid lane.
And G4 gets that kill, prevents himself from becoming G04, gets at least one kill, perfect game denied. But 8,000 lead on the board already. To match that gold lead that they had in earlier LiveGo teams matches, they need to get roughly 9,000 gold in the next 5-6 minutes, so it's going to be hard to break that record.
The time trial is on. As what Crowbo is saying is EDG will back off. Going to spend some more of that money. You can see their items are massive already. Depth close to the infinity edge. Side kills completed for both support and jungle as we have a replay.
All right, so Mako drops the ward as side lands the hook and play combo. And here comes the entire party. What is it Inkling ultimate as well, cutting off the retreat there. Look at Death though, right into the middle of the fight.
Because it forces Lloyd forward. Death knows if he gets a reset and some damage, they gotta win this fight regardless. He doesn't have to survive this fight for it to be a big win for EDG. And look at the damage that are still alive. Even if Death falls, we still have a Darius, with the ulti. We have Paul on the Gangplank that can even win 1v2s later on with this battle. So there's so much depth coming out.
Yeah, at that point they're just looking for more people to commit to the fight.
Yeah.
And luckily it's done for Darius. Trinity forced on there, so that's it. Certainly online now for Edward Gaming.
And that's the way you really play that Darius. Early armor penetration from the Black Cleaver, and then you just go tanky. You get Deadman's Blade, and you basically become unkillable in addition to having very high base damage on your abilities, and armor shred on top of that. It becomes, such a hard task to deal with. You just have to kite him. That's all you can do. All you can try.
And the armor shred is even just like icing on the cake for Darius. Like, Black Cleaver is the one-stop shop, the best item that you can rush for him. The movement speed for all the bleed damage that keeps ticking, and it has health, it has cooldown reduction.
You buy one now.
If there were more versions of it, yeah. Give me one.
Well, that does fall in the bottom side as EDG knocked down 5 of Bangkok Titans turrets. Excellent up in kills, continuing to spiral ahead in gold. Almost 10k ahead as 007X. He's found Amazing J, but Amazing J will stand and fight. Paul's going to help him out. The ulti's good. Looking for the dog. Abra ahead. Does find it. He gets the kill. 1v2.
And this is exactly what we feared. Hang on. Mus is getting caught again.
Up there by Scar. Paul's going to ride in, and that's another kill as Death barely misses the secure.
And this is exactly what we feared. Champs, yes, they had a lot of tanks against a one-dimensional team composition, but they can run out of damage if they fall behind, and they were so prone to falling behind, especially after that missed 4-man gank in the mid lane on Pawn.
Yeah, you can know that the smart decision is to just buy armor, and you can know your path all you want, but if you don't have any money to spend on armor, then it doesn't matter. He's only got ninja tapping.
That is literally all he has. He wishes he had a frozen heart, and this is the danger. Ganking a Darius 1v2 is already tricky. Having Pawn's global ulti come out on top of that is just, that's adding insult to injury overall, and Bangkok Titans is in an incredibly tough position right now, over 10,000 gold behind, and it's only 15 minutes in. But it was to be expected. They're going out against a powerhouse coming out of LPL region. Many people would have rated them the best team in China if it wasn't for LGD's rise at the end and EDG's minor slump, or decent slump at the end of the season.
And EDG on track for the fastest game ever. I believe their record is 20 minutes and 14 seconds against Royal Never Give Up in the LPL. So those time trials we talked about could also be here as Clearlove's going to face back Moss. Death firing away with his IE now, and Moss has to pop the shield up and run away.
Got bold moves to venture out into the jungle here, and it looks like they do get snared.
He's just going to do some extra poke damage there with the Rockets, dragging up in 15 seconds. Death is a red elixir. EDG very ready to fight for this dragon.
And that average blade on Death already paid out 230 gold. He's getting those small.
He really needed it.
Yeah, I really. I think that is what separates the good from the best AD characters. I actually dislike it. I think when you're this far ahead, second item path is still better. But who am I to disagree with that?
Well, EDG are going to start off this dragon. It looks